risk of being a bit dull in the terms of measurement and metrics, can somebody give me some numbers on return for investment in what you've done?
You ask the question that we get asked all the time, right? How do I justify my job?
Well, you've justified it just by being here. I'm just interested if we have any numbers.
I think that the area of social media and digital communications in general struggles to justify its positioning. If you're not doing paid ads, the stats that you get can look really big or look really small and really not mean anything. But I think the justification I would give is that this is the way communications is moving. This is how people are communicating. 80% of people are opening my newsletter on their mobile phone. So it's all going that direction, and if we're not investing in it, and we're not experimenting, we're not trying with it, we're going to be behind the times. And there are nonprofits out there and for-profit organizations that are pushing the limits of digital communications, including social media, every day, and associations need to step it up if we're going to be at all able to be in those conversations.
I would concur with that. I think that it's about understanding where your audience is, and if you want to connect with them, on where they are. And they are using the online tools. And I think for us as an organization that shares information, one of the ways that we look at success is, are people accessing and downloading it, but are we actually seeing change in terms of program implementation and actually policy change? So one example that I would give is we did an infographic, I think about a year and a half ago, about hepatitis funding. And we talked about the fact that there was less than $1 of funding for each person that was infected with hepatitis. And for us, it wasn't a large reach that we got with the social media campaign, but ultimately we got what we wanted in the sense that the folks at HHS at their next meeting were talking about this infographic that someone had forwarded to them by email. And so the fact that we had someone at the secretary level at HHS who had the messaging and was actually using this to advocate for change internally, that was a success for us. And so we look at that in terms of ROI, not necessarily looking at this reached 20 million people, but it actually got us to what we wanted to be able to do in terms of change.
Yeah, before we move on, I just want to add also that associations need to really focus on social CRM, which is basically in order to connect the dots towards return on investment. So what that means is aligning social media activity with membership management, basically. So are you using social media to recruit members? And if so, how are you tracking that? If you have new people coming into your LinkedIn group, your open LinkedIn group, are you checking whether they're actually members or not? And if not, are you contacting them to join, right? Are you using social media for retention, and how do you measure that? Are you using social media for sales and promotion? And do you have specific discount codes that you use, one on Facebook versus one on LinkedIn for your conference registration, so that you can track if people came in one way versus the other? So there's a little bit of that middle level, actually connecting the dots and actually tracking, that is often missing, but all the pieces are there. It's just a matter of thinking it through to tie it back to your actual, membership marketing and membership management. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense. I'm just looking for a number.
Well, their numbers will be different for everybody. So there's one example of a social media manager who was working for NACRI, which is now the Children's Hospitals Association, and she sent out one tweet and got a $30,000 sponsorship out of it, directly related. So that's a number, but it's a sort of number out there. You know what I mean? So there's lots of numbers. They're just all over the map. You had a question.
Yeah, tag on to that. I mean, this whole way of doing business is gorgeous, in that it's both a pull and a push. You can push your message out there, but more importantly, you can pull information in, you can use it as the feedback. And the end result is satisfaction. Are you growing your membership, and of your membership, are they satisfied? The question is, how do you rate their satisfaction? When they Are they coming to your conference? Are they engaging? We can all measure engagement. Are you talking to people? Yes, but the big question is, at the end of the day, at the end of the conference, will you return? And it's not a matter of was the beer cold, was the chicken hot, was the registration process smooth, was the hotel. I mean, that's all important. You need to watch that. But you know, as a consumer, we forget about bad experiences within 6 months. But was it worth my time to come back? Was my career, was my personal life positively effective? Can I do my job better? Am I jazzed about my job to want to come back? And that's all dependent upon how well we have our, thank you, Kelly, our ears on, listening to what our audience wants. And are we listening sharp enough to really get an idea of what's on the horizon for next year? And it's not just churning the same old thing and come up with a good speaker. It's truly what is on the horizon. That's what this whole thing has a chance to, it's exciting. Sorry, that's my soapbox.